The sports news is Romy Titus and her guests covering the world of sport from football to athletics, cricket, rugby, UFC, and Dambe wrestling. Live weekdays on omniaudio.africa, 8:30 a.m. Central African Time. Romy Titus is South Africa's leading face and voice on all the sports stories you want to hear about and talk about. Also live on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook at Omni Audio Africa.
Good morning. It is a Friday edition of Not the Sports News, and what a weekend it's going to be. Why? Because locally, the Betway Prem comes back, and it is back with a bang. So this weekend, eyes are going to be glued to television screens like never before. And why? Because there has been a bit of a drought, right? The opener happens to be the MTN 8 quarters going into the semis now. And I always think that that is such a nice precursor. I think there's something to it with MTN 8, where they just kind of get the hype going started at the beginning of a season. And then if you take a look at this weekend, get ready for it. Apart from it being Women's Day, tomorrow we see Chippa United, that's Mamelodi Sundowns. We see AmaZulu Orbit College, and obviously newbies now in the PSL. So it's all eyes on this team. AmaZulu, however, with their coach, also happens to be a team that you're going to want to watch, because I know that Coach Zwane there has his magic that he already sprinkled. So just one to watch. In my books. Richards Bay, Gallants, Polokwane City, Magesi, Pirates are playing Skukune, and then we see a Siwelele and a Golden Arrow. So that is just to whet your appetite. Tlalefang now joins me, and we're going to start with the Varsity Cup. Tlalefang, please tell me about the hype, the camaraderie, just the chias that happens that I think only a Varsity Cup can encompass.
Morning, Romy. Are you well?
Always good. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. No, Varsity Cup was quite the experience.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the Tuks and UFS game last night, and look, it was freezing cold.
You frozen?
But
did you get some frostbite?
Listen. But the experience, the crowd, the game kept me warm enough to not, to make it out alive there. It was an incredible experience. So many fans. The game in itself was exciting, particularly the first half.
Yeah.
The first half, UFS looked like it could actually steal this game, right? And because it's Tuks at home, so you'd think Tuks would dominate University of Free State. But UFS was it looked like they were going to steal the game with one goal.
But you know what? Is it because they know how to operate in the cold?
Perhaps.
Think about the Free State, and you think this time of the year, if it is that you're going that way, you know you're going to get a cold like no other. Joburg is colder than usual, but I mean, we always talk about the big teams, right? And acclimatizing, like for example, an Orbit College, maybe AmaZulu, not so much, but whenever teams travel, there is an acclimatization of some sort. Maybe a Siwelele Golden Arrows, arrows traveling, for example. Then you talk about the acclimatization, and I guess nothing is different, right? When you're traveling, doesn't matter if it's Varsity Cup, if it's mainstream football, wherever it is, whichever league. I do think that acclimatization plays a big role, and so maybe UFS know how to play in the cold.
Yeah, no, they do, but I believe they had a plan, because they didn't know they were not favorites to win that game. From a PSL team in itself, so they have the resources, the structures to be able to deal with big games. So UFS got there as underdogs and prepared as such. So they held back for a bit, thought they'd get a goal on the break, and then step back. But then in the second half, Tuks came out firing.
Yeah.
And with that, we got a chance to speak to the coach. Coach has only been there for 3 practice sessions with this team.
Oh, wow.
So he's fairly new. So he knew basically the team was not going to survive the second half. The players were getting tired. He was stressed. And it got to a point where he doesn't know who to sub on because he doesn't know the players all that well. He was fighting for his life.
Shame.
So the fitness level kicked in, and then Tuks just created chance after chance after chance. If anything, so the game ended in a 0-0 draw.
Mm-hmm.
But the Tuks was disappointed. Tuks was
0-0
extremely
when there's
disappointed.
chance after chance after chance, and
Yeah.
that Tuks have the upper hand at the end of the day.
Yes. Sadly, those chances were just off target. Most of them off target, which is, look, in terms of the final third, it's a SA football problem. We all know this.
Got you.
Yeah.
With that said, though, like you said, it was cold. The gees was there, though. The football made you warm. The off-the-pitch sort of antics and camaraderie and fans and etc. But what was the favorite? Because I know that there was a Varsity Cup couch. That is where you were seated or close to. And then again, what makes it special? Because I think every league comes with its own magic, right? If it is that you go to the PSL and you take a look at those games, if you go to Motsepe, NFD, for example, what is it about the Varsity Cup that makes it unlike any other? You know, the way it vibrates, probably on a different frequency.
I just believe it's the students believing that they can make it as the ultimate professional player. It looks like you're almost there. And with the fans themselves watching those players, these are students that they walk around with. These are colleagues, basically.
Yeah.
And they see themselves within them that, hey, I could actually make it to PSL because now we're in the first game of the Varsity Cup or second game of this Varsity Cup. And it's just a renewed hope that this could be the chance that we all have to make it big. So that's what makes it special. You're on the precipice of greatness.
Did you go to varsity? You know,
Yes, I did.
Can you think back to like these days? Don't you wish them back? Because often when I am at a university, I'm just like, these must have been some of the best years of my life. I had no money. I was broke as hell. But I guess there's something about varsity days, hence me rolling that into Varsity Cup, because that's where the memories are going to be made. And one day they look back and go, remember when we were here watching so-and-so? Now so-and-so is possibly a big gun playing in the EPL.
Look, I'm hoping, they get to enjoy what's happening now. But it's also difficult to enjoy what's happening now while you're in it. Only when you look back, you're like, damn, what a good time.
Yeah, man.
What an amazing time. Where it's just, you're not adulting anymore. You're just living your best life every day. It's just too many things happening. Oh, man, we're fighting for our lives right now.
Yeah.
But that enjoyment is definitely there from all of them.
Awesome.
There's so much support and exciting times. Very exciting.
Awesome. That's good to hear, Tlalefang, because obviously all the way through until the end of September, Varsity Cup action is coming. Take a look for the blue couch. And if it is that you see the blue couch, well, please, go ahead there and make yourself very, very comfortable, because it's going to be at the majority of the Varsity Cup games. Let us move on to the PSL, because it is a big weekend. If it is that the audience ratings are going to be through the window, it is definitely this weekend. What game are you looking forward to seeing, Tlalefang?
Pirates and Sekhukhune. That, for me, is the game.
The game of the weekend?
Yeah, for me, yes. For sure in the PSL. So there's a bit of a story, obviously, with Sipho Mbule, which is the most exciting signing in the PSL right now.
Yeah.
Everyone's excited, and he's playing against his former team. So that's always the story behind the game is what makes the game the game.
All right, so tell me about that story behind the game.
So Sipho Mbule was playing for Sekhukhune last season. He was on loan at Sekhukhune from last season, and this is where he got to revive his career. And it's because of his revival with Sekhukhune that got him the transfer to Pirates. So right now, Sipho Mbule is supposed to be the guy, the man to take Pirates to actually challenge Mamelodi Sundowns for the title. And he is excited. I myself, as a Pirate supporter, this is the most exciting signing we've had in some seasons. So he's supposed to be the guy. He's supposed to be the one that's going to create something special. So we can at least challenge Mamelodi Sundowns.
Guy, you know what, Tlalefag? Now I'm going to stop you there because everybody's been talking about Mbule, and I take nothing away from what it is that he brings or his talent at the end of the day. But I just think that there is so much hype that I'm afraid of the pressure that this player is now under. You're not the first one to say that, right? But these are sort of like the corner conversations that are happening around signings. I just feel wherever Sipho Mbule is right now, it must weigh so heavy that so much is expected that I guess like an Osman Apollos, for example, coming out against his former team, finding the back of the net, and then the injury, which I hope isn't too serious, right? But there's got to be that element of pressure, which always exists. However, for me, I just think there's so much heaped on Sipho right now for him to be what everybody says he is and should be, that you as a fan, you're going to be disappointed when he comes out. If he comes out tomorrow night, 5:30 kickoff, and doesn't do what you want him to.
Signing for Orlando Pirates is always pressure, no matter what we say. One of the big clubs in this country. So there's added pressure on him to be the shining light and the beacon and the guy that's supposed to win us the league. I'm sure he's been informed of that. Mm-hmm. He's been educated on that. He's been, orientated into all of this. Can he handle that pressure? Only time will tell. Only time will tell.
Yeah, but still, I just think lay it off. Lay off, poor Sipho. Just lay off, man. Lay off. Let the poor guy just be.
Look, it was Relemo Fouquet. He was our guy. Now we have another guy. Mm-hmm. It's shared pressure, and maybe he thrives in it. When we look at him preseason, you watch him in the M108. He thrives. He wants that ball in every situation. He wants the game to run through him. He looks at home. But then again, we treat the M108 as a preseason tournament as opposed to an actual tournament that needs to be won. Yeah. Right. So, look, I believe he's ready for it. He's ready for it. I don't know why people think he may not be. He looks like he belongs in a Pirates shirt.
He's definitely a seasoned player for him not to be ready. I don't think so. I just think in every conversation that I've had, especially here on Not the Sports News, even with former captain Lakela Khwati when he sat here, it's a Sipho story. It's a Sipho. Yeah. And I'm not saying we shouldn't be, but I'm just saying wherever he must find himself, and if it is that he subscribes to social media, it's a lot, man. It's a lot for any human being to stand up and go, oh my gosh, now I have to churn out the results. It is a do or die. I agree with you there, Tlalefang. Tomorrow, 5:30, Pirates, Sekhukhune United. The story behind the story you've told us. For me, it is about a Chippa United and a Mamelodi Sundowns, right? The other day on Not the Sports News, I waxed lyrical about how I felt that Cardoso should not have gotten coach of the season. The first coach to take Sundowns to, if you take a look at the points, right, that far. So I take, again, nothing away from the coach. I had my favorite one that I wanted to win. Hence, I was waxing lyrical. However, I mean, a Mamelodi Sundowns in their opener need to put a stamp of some sort on it, right? Which makes everybody kind of back down and take a look and go, but these were last season's league champions. That's up for grabs again. However, if you take a look at a Sailor, not there, going to the last cup game, Ribeiro, not there. Who's the third player? Shalulile, not there. And so there are question marks. However, obviously, this is a team that boasts a bench where anybody can kind of stand up, raise their hand, and perfectly slot in. That's the magic that exists at Sundowns. But for them, it can't be a walk in the park. But they've also got to come out, I don't know, I almost want to say like with some gunshots. It says, hello, we're 8 times in a row league champions, 15 all in all. Look at us. We're untouchable. You've got to come out with some sort of a hype song, I guess it comes in terms of goals, but there's got to be some, like, look at us, when they come out.
They had a bit of that look at us in the MTN8, where they dominated, I believe it was Richards Bay. Right. For them, they made that game into a training session. You could say that it's Richards Bay being intimidated. Perhaps you could say that. But it's Sundowns being Sundowns. They are the powerhouse of this league. So Sundowns is a team, like you're saying, there's individuals that are missing. Ribeiro is a huge one, right? Shaludi a big one. Those are big in terms of their attacking prowess. But with Sundowns, as you said, the bench is deep enough, but it's their system that makes them win. Not all the time is it players. They are able to find solutions and have probably bought solutions to help them through these kinds of patches right now. So they don't have to make the statement. They are Sundowns. They are 8-time champions. They are the statement wherever they go. They just need to go there and win the game. Win the games that people don't necessarily watch for, that aren't mainstream. That's where Sundowns beats the likes of Pirates. Pirates would need a game to be a one that's popular. That's when they step up and make it count. But Sundowns on a Tuesday, a game where people don't necessarily care about, they get the 3 points and keep it tracking. And a game against Chipa, and it's an opener, of course. Everyone's excited for the league to start. But this is a game they'll obviously win.
Yeah.
It doesn't always need to be flashy and razzle-dazzle. Nah. They want 3 points.
It has to be. I disagree with you. No. There does have to be flashy and razzle-dazzle because for me, there's a fine line between football. Yes, you've got to focus on, obviously, the league and winning that. I always think that's way more important than cup competitions, in my opinion. But there's also a fine line between winning and entertainment. Because why am I watching? Why am I going to a stadium and paying money? Why? And I'm definitely paying for that entertainment value. I'm paying for the razzle-dazzle. Give it to me.
Look, whoever Sundowns faces, if it's not a Pirates, a Chiefs, arguably a Staleys, teams outside of that bracket, they understand that Sundowns is the head of the household here. And we're happy to be here. So they're going to set up with the low block and hopefully defend well and hope that Sundowns can, not hope, but rather see if Sundowns can break them down. Then it becomes a training match. This is what Sundowns faces every season. Their challenge is being able to break down 11 behind the ball. That's what they need to do. And it's going to be just like with Richards Bay. Chipa will try and have a counter attack of some sort and get a goal. But Sundowns knows, this is my house. Just be glad you're here.
And I live here.
This it.
Yeah, I mean, I sang for you. We won't go there just now.
Well, let's not go.
It's fine. Talking about obviously that 4-0 drubbing, it was in the cup competition. MTN 8, it was Sundowns up against Richards Bay. Tlalefang, in your opinion, I mean, we see an Orbit College, right? They're playing AmaZulu. Then we also see, where is it now? It is no, that's Tuesday. It's the newbies, Durban City and Atias Galaxy on Sunday. It's a lot also. I mean, I talk about a lot on the new signing, Sipho Mbule in particular, but it's also a lot when new teams come into top flight football like a Durban City and an Orbit College because it's a different ball game now.
Yes.
Yes, your stipend is more. But you've got to kind of get, it's not, I think the first season is always like, we just got to survive here. We got to survive. We cannot go to the playoffs. We've got to survive. Do you feel strong enough? Do you feel enough homework done in order to have their survival skills out and ready against a Tiers Galaxy? And also, I mean, against an AmaZulu, and those are not easy teams.
Not at all. Not at all. The TS Galaxy, AmaZulu, is fighting to be in the top 8. Their challenge is to try even get into a CAF position, right? The teams that get promoted, they will have it. I'm sure they are realistic. That listen, guys, there are games where obviously Sundowns, Pirates, Chiefs, we're not going to get a point here at all. Just rub it out. Right, then there's a batch of teams where they feel like they could sneak in a 3 or a 1-pointer in there. But with AmaZulu and Takes Galaxy, they are teams where they have a mandate to, I believe, they need to be challenged for top 8 and even a CAF position at some point. So now in orbit and at Durban City, guys, not such a time right now. Not right now. They can prepare as best as they can, but they also should understand and be humble enough that we just arrived here. We just arrived.
Yeah, yeah.
So if they can get a draw, that would be great. Because as you said, they just try to stay here. That's what they need to do. Is just try to stay here. Durban City, I know, has signed quite a number of players. So with these new signings that you bring in, have you had time to ingratiate them, for them to form some sort of chemistry, to prepare them for the level that is the PSL?
Yeah.
As much as we may think that we might look from outside and be like, man, a PSL Business League, what are you talking about? It's a huge step up as a promotion, right? So now to match that level in terms of intensity, in terms of fitness, in terms of tactical setup and executing that tactical setup, it's going to ask a lot of them.
Yeah.
So the coaches, the technical staff, I'm sure, have done the best that they could to prepare them. But at the end of the day, it's the players that win you the games. So will they be present? Will the lights, will the opportunity, will they drown in it or not? Only time will tell.
Yeah.
But the coach can do what they do.
It is tough. It is a bit of a culture shock, when they eventually get there. And you see it, obviously, in the way they play in the first couple of games as they find their feet. But, I mean, well-deserved. Orbit College in top-flight football, we're talking about Durban City as well. And now we watch and wait and see. For me, a concern, I don't know for you, Tlalefang, is Siwelele FC. I don't know if it's the copy and paste in terms of like the super sport. Maybe I don't quite understand what's happening there yet. I'm not writing them off. I'm quite happy that we see a Bloem Celtic in inverted commas again, I don't quite know how I feel. And they're up against Golden Arrows, but I haven't quite yet. And even yesterday when we were talking about clubs buying and selling or acquiring status, I still don't know how I feel about Siwelele FC.
No. It's these buying and selling of statuses, just they rip the soul out of clubs, and they could come back now because we know Bloem Celtic. Bloem Celtic is Bloem Celtic, the white and the green, but even with that, when you rename it, it will not feel the same as Bloem Celtic when it's Siwelele. Siwelele is how we knew them. But because of all this buying and selling and statuses and things changing, they are ripping the essence and the soul out of the clubs. And when they come to the PSL, they aren't the same. They just lack that thing. But this is just me as a fan of football.
Yeah, I hear you. And we're allowed our opinions, honestly.
For sure. As a fan of football, you want it, like you said earlier on, it's not just about what's on the pitch. It's also what's outside of it. The fans, the people that believe and drive the culture of the clubs.
Yeah.
Or the fans. So will the fans, have they bought into it? Are they believing that this is our club?
Yeah,
or is it just another club?
And the reason why I'm not quite there is because I think Royal AM also caught me unaware. In terms of acquiring that the status or making it into top flight football and coming in with so much promise, and there were so many antics, and it was a club that had money and a club that duly and rightfully paid their players, but paid it in a way that I guess we all saw. EFTs are kind of there for a reason.
It's so terrible. It's such a bad look.
Nonetheless, look, I'm all for players being paid, definitely. Maybe for me, just not in that way. But there was so much, razzle dazzle, and then there was the long-standing fan of Pirates that crosses the floor, and then that makes news as well, in Mama Joy, who's been there for decades, and it's about the money at the end of the day, And then there's so much promise, and I also think as a woman in football, you look and you think, come on, you got to do this, you've got to make it, like do it for all of us, in a Women's Month also. And then it doesn't quite go according to plan. And so now I'm apprehensive to kind of anybody, anywhere coming in. I'm apprehensive as a fan of football. I'm just kind of like, I'm not going to get excited. I'm just going to sit here on the side and kind of watch now, as opposed to getting caught in the hype.
Oh, man, these things are making a mockery of our league. And then they don't understand it, right? It's these actions, this buying and selling, that just makes our league just not serious. People don't, for instance, I'm a coach and I deal with players, younger players. None of them are watching the PSL. They're like, Coach, why would I watch this thing where you have an owner giving players money in envelopes on the field? What are you talking about, Coach? I'm like, no, guys, let's be patriotic. Patriotism should not be the reason why we watch our league. It should be a quality product. And it's in moments like this that dilutes the product that is the PSL.
Yeah.
And all this buying and selling, now your owner isn't paying tax. What are we talking about here?
Yeah.
The PSL should have stringent rules to ensure that when you come into this league, are you able to stay in this league? Because this chopping and changing of owners, it's as if the league is always up for sale to somebody.
It is. I guess clubs up for sale for somebody, but it is an exciting weekend nonetheless,
Yeah, for sure.
It is about the PSL. It is back. Whether it is that you're apprehensive about certain teams, owners, clubs buying this one, that one, status acquisition, outright sales, it doesn't matter. It is back. It's back with a bang. And I'm super excited that local football is back. It's about watching those new signings you're talking about. A Fawaz Basadin that is going from Estelis to a Mamelodi Sundowns. What is going to happen? Is Oswin back? It is about Sipho Mbule that everybody is chatting about. We can't forget, before I let you go, Tlalefang, Algeria, South Africa today. This is Bafana Chan African Nations Championship group stage. It's Group C that they're in. After that, they'll play Guinea, which is on Monday, and Niger on the 15th of August. But just your prediction, you know how we do on the television, even though this is a podcast, your prediction. And then also very quickly, just in terms of the players who've made it into the Chan team, I think they also have their hands up, kind of looking for that forever home.
Look, the Bafana, South African football, to be quite honest, it's at its best position that it's been in the last 5 years than the past 2 decades. We're done being a bunch of losers. Still haven't won, but there is a positive feel about our football, about our national teams. And from our under-19s, the women's teams, to Bafana in itself. So now with the Chan, I wouldn't say I expect us to just run through these teams, but I expect us to get the requisite results, which are W's. All I want is W's, to be very honest. Doesn't matter who's on there. Because you're donning our shirt, what I want is playing Guinea. You did say you're playing Guinea, right?
Yes.
We should get at least a 2-0 there, no matter what happens.
Algeria's
no matter
today
what
at 4.
happens. Algeria can be a bit of a tricky one. Can be a bit of a tricky one. And we don't have, this is not our national team. This is not our squad.
I always want us to kind of define, when it comes to COSAFA, can it be Bafana light? Because I always feel like it's the younger players that are getting called up, right?
Yes.
Then we've got like our strong and steady team with Coach Hugo. And
For
then
sure.
if it is a Chan team that we're calling up, because all of these are Bafanas. Can we break it down? Can this be like Bafana medium?
Yeah, I think we should not just call them Bafana at all, because
True.
myself, I get confused. What is happening? Why are all these competitions happening? Is it for younger players? Is it Ama Gluk Gluk vibes? What is going on here?
Yeah, I think we need to define it. Even if we define it for ourselves, just so that in our minds we kind of know, okay, Bafana Light is playing, that's COSAFA. Bafana Not So Light is now playing in Chan. And then Bafana Strong is playing World Cup qualifiers and AFCON. Nonetheless, that's really just for me to kind of put it into perspective. But as you said, if you're donning the green and gold, go for that W. Because that's what we want at the end of the day. And also in terms of just rankings overall,
For sure.
for South Africa, I think that goes a long way. Tlalefang, your prediction? As we do. I always hate that question, but it's always so interesting to know through someone else's eyes, how many goals do they see? You've gone ahead and picked that Skokuna and Orlando Pirates game. So put your head on the block and tell me, what is the game going to end in?
It's got to be a 2-0 win to Orlando Pirates.
I'm going to give it a 2-1.
Why must you give it a 1? For what?
Because I'm also allowed to gaze into my crystal ball and give you a score. So I tell you what, let's exchange voice notes for Not the Sports News on Monday. I want to hear your analysis of the game. You've put your head on the block. You've gone with a 2-0. I'm countering that with a 2-1 because I think Skokune also have a point to prove, and then we'll see.
Okay, for sure.
Who reigns?
Mbule, man of the match.
Who, you?
Mbule, man of the match. Just in case you're wondering. No.
Look, yeah, I mean, if you want to go ahead and do the starting 11, you can. But yeah, I want to see between you and I, whose prediction is right.
Let's see.
Yeah, let's see. Have a good weekend, Tlalefang. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. Tlalefang, just chatting about the season that is going to be. It's red hot this weekend. PSL is back. I've given you those fixtures. Tlalefang is waiting for 5:30 tomorrow. Pirates, Kukune United. I'm going to go with the Sundowns game because I want to see what they're up against in terms of a Chippy United, what they can do there. And then I really just also want to see tomorrow. It's Orbit College and Amazulu. And I think also just as a newbies and an introduction to top flight football, it'll be interesting to see if they use Salang or they don't. This is a Friday edition of Not the Sports News. We're back on Monday talking about all of this and more. I'll see you then. Cheerio.